copy of the
Mr.
Strand
Holmes'
here?
murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now, will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
No, really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is. Finest view London has to offer. May I ask you something?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Can I ask you a question?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Are you able to help me?
Excuse me, what? I'm not sure I know.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
A familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin? The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something. It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them. Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh, no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another. I'll be off. I'll be off. Hello there. What's your name?
Lily, I know, not very original.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about this?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
May I ask you something?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Do you know anything about this?
It is a shame I can't answer your question.
Can I ask you a question?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Do you know anything about this?
A lady doesn't know about such things.
Could you help me?
Excuse me, what? Well, I'm not sure I know.
Are you able to help me?
Excuse me, what? Well, I'm not sure I know.
Are you able to help me?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Could you help me?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Do you know anything about this?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
May I ask you something?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I don't know anything about that.
May I ask you something?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Is this familiar to you?
Excuse me, what? I'm not sure I know.
I'll be off. I'll be off. I'll be off.
I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right. I don't know anything about this, sorry. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I don't know anything about this, sorry. Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes, no, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled. You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
I have neither the experience nor the interest in navigating the finer sex and their peculiarities. Do what you will.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and.
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.